Didn't start.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Before we get started, I would like to read a letter that I received on September the 6th. And it is to support a solar farm at the Sheasley property. And it's really kind of cute. Utilizing the sun to create electricity is clean and efficient. Solar panels are compact, low silhouette, and with proper fencing, goats can mow the grass. Respect those who have a different view of solar power, but when electricity came to the farm mid-1930s, it was vigorously opposed. Yes, I lived through it. Those hanging wires were ugly and still are necessary. Electricity United America, electrical technology. I don't know what that word is. To adapt and continue to move forward. It has helped me to remain vertical at 94 plus years and still play golf. And this is done for what it's worth. My 2 cents, and it's from John Lawrence on 2 Cleveland Ave in Canton, New York. So if you could put that with the Sheasley stuff, even though it's kind of late for public.
No problem.
Okay, we don't really have any old business. So today we're here to review the 676 Old Canton Road. Is a 3.3 megawatt solar array project. For the zoning law 7024, the proposed project is a rural zone and a major solar system. It's permitted in this area with a site plan review and a special permit. For Article 670-33, that's and all the stuff. Alternate energy systems, page 7031 requires a building permit and a site plan review. Indicate the potential effect on neighboring properties from noise, odor, aesthetics, health, or safety considerations of the system. System is required to be structurally and aesthetically maintained. The town board has directed the town planning board to be lead agency for SECRA pertaining to the solar projects in this town. This project is a type 1 action because it involves more than 25 acres and is therefore requires a full SECRA and a coordinated review with involved and interested parties. For Article 3, Permit 70-11 on page 7012, this is a pre-application conference for this project. 70-24 Rule Zone on page 7019 in your book. And the solar system is allowed by special permit. Project description. I'm going to let you go ahead and go over the project, but before we do that, I just want to review what the St. Lawrence County Planning Board said about this project. They reviewed it. When did they review it? July? Yes, Thursday. I put July 14th. Why did I do that? When was that? It was
Just last week.
September 8th. It was September 8th. Yeah. 2022. No, I went to them because it's a farm operation located in an ag district. Is there any other reason that it went to them?
500 feet of the town line.
Oh, okay.
It is the town line. Yes.
Let me try not to move the top. So the conditions are, they conditionally approved it. For use permit for this project on September 8, 2022, and the conditions are: 1, omit the salvage value of the facility's equipment and materials from the decommissioning cost estimate. Cost estimate should also be reviewed by the town's engineering firm to determine whether the value equals 125% of the projected cost to remove the facility, and determine whether the estimate includes a 2% escalator. Planning office staff noted that the estimate omits replanting the vegetation on the 6.5 acre of land that is proposed for clearing. Number 2, prepare and submit a forest inventory of the 6.5 acres that is proposed for clearing. The inventory shall consist of 1 sample plot per acre, which identifies species, size, and composition, and be completed by a certified forester. The vegetative buffer that will be planted to help visually screen the solar facility from nearby residences should not be included as part of the decommissioning process and remain on site after the facility is discontinued. Number 4, require the applicant to describe how the racking and equipment will be installed into the bedrock and outcroppings located in a 6.5 acre area that will be cleared to accommodate the facility. 5, submit a drawing of the 6 utility poles that will be installed in the northeast corner of the project. Have the town planning board assess the visual impact the poles will have to neighboring residences and vehicles traveling on US Highway 11. 6, to minimize cyber security threats to the grid, submit a description of the cybersecurity software programming that will be installed where electronic information is exchanged between the array and the utilities distribution control system. And that's a recommendation. And number 7 is also a recommendation. To minimize the displacement of agricultural lands that will be taken out of production for the duration of the lease, prepare and submit a plan that identifies how land within the fenced area will be used to accommodate a compatible agricultural use while the array is in operation. I do want to say I miss Cody's write-up of these projects because his was very detailed and very nice. Anyway, I'll let you go ahead and go over the project, and then we will talk about each part.
Perfect. Okay. Well, just want to say thank you for having us today, and we're having a good evening. This is the slide that. Well,
Do we have this slideshow?
the slide.
Given it.
Oh, okay.
Share it.
Or can you get on the Zoom?
Yeah, we must forget it. Is that we haven't seen it?
I don't know how I'll get it. You want to email it to me?
Sure.
Can we
Or-
to this?
To log in.
Okay.
To the Zoom thing, I can let you share your screen. Probably.
No, I just want to see if I have it. It's.
It's Christine here. I did share it with Mike. Is Mike in the room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could I potentially
Mike,
close it off
I
of it?
did
Is
send
that?
it to your email as well.
Yeah, hold on.
Me plug his laptop in.
I can just email it to you.
Because he has an email with his Zoom link. And
Do you need the Zoom link? I can do that instead.
that
Sure.
would-
I can support it to you.
Either way, I
Okay.
can do it really fast either way. Hang on, just a second.
When you just email.
Participants.
Email, that's my, yeah,
Just send it to JREED. It's easier than my other one.
Joe, so I can say
JREED
Yeah. EED,
at Canton,
Canton, yeah,
NY
and, oh, yeah.
.gov.
And, yeah,
Figured that was going to do that. All right, hang on one second.
okay.
It's not this email. No worries. Should come in any second. My email's a little slow is all. The Canton email's a little slow. There it is.
Yeah, perfect.
No problem. Let me open it and then I will also I will do a Zoom screen share.
Perfect. Yeah. So,
And everyone.
I would do it.
Then everyone will be able to see the same thing. Now it did this. Exit minimized. Sorry. And share screen. And I want that one. Share. And I just want to put you guys away. And I can't make it any bigger, but hopefully that'll work.
Well, if you can just zoom in on the bottom, where there's like the microscope,
You see the plus.
Oh, yeah.
and then I would do it, that, yeah. It's
There you
like,
go.
Is that too big or is that good?
everyone's fine.
Perfect.
Definitely better than the black on the side. But yeah, so this is, I was just saying, these are 2 projects that we non-commercial operate yet, but that we have in New York State. And then go to the next slide.
Yep.
Sorry.
No. Oh, it's PDF, so.
There you go. That's just the agenda that we're going to be covering in the slideshow. So
Okay.
here's an introduction, who we are, the engagement process, the SIP and the site planning package, then the project concept layout and details, proposed improvement summary, proposed project schedule, potential permits, land use considerations, the agricultural statement, prime soils, tree removal and landscaping, the decommissioning plan, and then operational and maintenance plans. And then if you guys have any questions and answers, we'll be more than happy to answer them at the end.
Sure.
And then this just is a diagram of who's on the team here. So we have both Bob and Chrissy who are on the line. We have Sean Fairfield, who's the project director, Jody Hunt, who's from Tetra Cost Global for me, and then Amelia Sabalski as a planner. And this is just kind of the general sense about Liberty Utilities and Liberty Power, and just kind of describes that how we've been established in 1988, and we've been doing with just a small hydro project, and we slowly scaled across North America to do many large renewable, including solar, and it shows on there a few different ones from water, natural gas, and electricity. So we're definitely familiar in this field. And then for the looping process, this is basically what we've done to date. And it's, so we sent the base of a session letter back in July 8th of this year. We did a pre-application meeting with the town and the St. Lawrence County. We did the kickoff permitting phase with consulting as Tetra Tech. And then, so we currently have approximately the 74.2 acres of land under lease for the proposed 3.3 megawatt project. They continued agreement with the landowner on specific areas to optimize the site layout and addressing comments asked during the county board planning on September 8 meeting. And now we're starting the draft community benefit agreement next week with town lawyer. And then Jody, can I share this overview?
Sure. All right. So my name is Jody Hunt, and I am a senior project manager with Tetra Tech in Rochester, New York. I am a geologist by nature, environmental scientist by degree. I've permitted approximately 150 of these projects in New York State and throughout the United States, of all different sizes. And the typical way that our engineering and environmental shop goes through the special use permitting and site plan application plan is to first take a look at the zoning and ordinances for the municipality, in this case, Canton, and to take a look at your solar laws and zoning ordinances, setbacks, and all of those things. And then we start to put together our environmental strategy, doing whatever field work is required to make sure that we are being responsible about the properties that we're using. The things that we have included in our project application that I think Mike may or may not have had a chance to go through yet would be the narrative that is just sort of a short and sweet version of all of the work that we've done to date on the project. It sort of answers all of those high level questions that people tend to have about solar projects right up front without you having to dig through all of our studies and technical talk. We've also submitted a 30% civil design set. We realized that is probably going to be a little bit under negotiation going forward. And then I won't read you the whole list, but we've got the O&M plan, a decommissioning plan that the county wants us to work on a bit, and all of the other documentation that was required by the codes and ordinances were in there as well.
I did really like how you put your package together.
Thank you.
I thought it was quite complete. There's a few little things.
Yeah,
it's really quite complete.
Thank
So
you. I appreciate that. We tried.
It's nice to see it all in one 3-ring binder as well.
It's easier. My life is easier. So
Thank you,
of course. Thank you.
Jody.
All right. So the concept site plan and details are all here. Oh, there was a bad echo right then. Did you hear the echo?
I think it's somebody
On there.
Oh, that's not muted.
Yeah, okay.
I'll mute myself. Sorry about that.
It was echoing, Bobbin. All right. So our site plan is the typical solar project that I think that you have probably seen before. It is solar panels, an access road, racking system, equipment pads, and you have all of those details. The nameplate capacity is 3.3 megawatts, so sort of right in the middle of that community solar / DG project range. The land in total is just under 75 acres, and we're proposing to use just under 30 of those. Again, you've already stated the zoning for the property. It's a rural and permitted after this process, hopefully. And then the environmental work that we've done to date has included wetlands delineations, water body delineations, cultural resources, consultations with the SHPO, who has, by the way, confirmed that the project won't have any impacts on any cultural resources.
So you did get the letter.
We did.
All right,
I will forward that.
perfect, thank
Yep.
you. Yeah, I can just forward it to Mike.
Got it.
He likes us all know.
Yes, alrighty. And then threatened endangered species, and there was really no issue here. And we go through bats and all the T&E species through New York State and through the federal government as well.
Monarch butterfly, correct?
So that is not a currently listed species.
It's endangered now.
It is.
Isn't that, wasn't that
It's
on
on
the
the
list? Is it-
It's on the
It's decided, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
I noticed it was in your document.
So, yeah, so on that note, the thing about solar projects is that there is the potential to plant vegetation that would not endanger that species further. I will say right up front that Liberty is a responsible company. My shop is a responsible company. We don't have any intention of damaging or further endangering birds, butterflies.
So they might plant milkweed there.
I'm not going to commit them to planting milkweed. Oh, that's a question for Liberty directly. And then the expected start of construction
Mhm.
would be in next year, 2023.
So you're looking at the fall.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Q3.
Yeah.
Q3, yep.
All right, and just to go over,
It would be summer, wouldn't it? Because the fall
July,
would be
August,
fourth
September.
quarter.
Yeah, because I guess we're
Coming out.
right now.
yeah. Yeah, and that's of course dependent upon this process too. So, and then just a bit about the setback requirements versus what we have given with this layout. We've either met or exceeded all of the town requirements, the zoning and solar requirements. We have stayed away from the delineated wetlands, at least 100 feet. The residences on participating properties, just as a best management practice, we are 250 feet away from them. And then also as a best management practice, 50 feet away from any of the contiguous forest.
If you like, I know Bob's already, you can take over the next two slides.
It's up to you, Bob. And if you want me to keep going, I'd be glad to, or if you want to jump in, go for it.
There's your number of panels. I didn't see that anywhere.
Byron, you still with us?
And your three binder. I didn't see it.
Here. All right, so
Sorry, I was talking to myself on mute. No, if it's easier for everyone to hear, you can
module-
continue.
oh, just so you know, is on the first page of our civil design set under project summary.
Okay, I didn't get that. up.
Yep, there's
And then maybe some of these other questions that you.
Yep, I think we've answered a lot of them, but I will be sure to answer all of them in writing,
Okay.
so you have it all. So Bob and I, is it your turn now or me?
Yeah, if you guys can hear me clearly, I can take over, unless if it's a little bit difficult, you can continue. It's fairly
We can hear you fine.
Okay, fine.
So as Jody had mentioned before, there's multiple properties of a solar farm. So we just wanted to state really quickly, the basics, solar 101 of this solar farm. So modules, obviously, the current design proposes about just over 15,000 solar panels, which will be mounted to a single axis tracker. The solar panels are typically installed between 3 to 5 feet from the ground level, and range in size depending on topography. Don't believe we have any crazy topography on this side. And, we keep the height off the ground. We call it a leading edge in the industry to avoid any snow buildup in the winter. The racking system is, as I mentioned before, a single axis system, which follows the sun from east to west and is supported by driven piles in the ground. We'll get more into what kind of foundations will be used as we complete geotech studies and finalize an actual foundation design. Inverters for this project, we've decided to utilize one central inverter station. The collector system, as specified with National Grid, is going to be an underground 13.2 kilovolt electrical collector line connecting the array to the point of interconnection per National Grid. I know someone had mentioned a number of 6 or 7 poles previously, but we double checked the application to National Grid, and there's only 4 new poles that will be installed. And there's an existing pole in that vicinity too. Access road, there'll be a 16 wide internal access road that will be constructed to provide access throughout the facility. The perimeter fence will be a 6 foot high wildlife friendly fence.
It's 7.
7 foot friendly fence that will be constructed around the entire perimeter of the site. Sorry about the little typo there on the presentation. And we'll have a temporary staging area located in the northern part of the project, which we'll use for storage and project materials, some short-term equipment storage, and washroom facilities, office trailers for the duration of the project. Just a very high level project that we're targeting. So, back in 2020, the conceptualization of this project started. The project land was leased in 2021. Q2. Sorry, did someone say something?
It was outside the room. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. We've kicked off the environmental and permitting process, as you guys are aware, as of Q2 this year. We're targeting SUP approval for Q1 of 2023 with a target construction date start of Q2 2023. And then we anticipate our commercial operation date in Q4 of 2023. Back to Jody.
You okay with taking a second?
Yeah, I can talk about this. So some of the other things that we do when we're putting together the packages for these projects is going through the potential permits that may be required other than the local municipal requirements. So here we did a check for the Federal Aviation Administration for glare, and we're cleared there. So no FAA permits are required. We will have to have a SWIP for the project. That's pretty universal for these solar projects, and those have to be in place according to state requirements before construction starts. And there are several others here. Again, we have clearance from SHPO already for cultural resources. We anticipate needing some, road opening or driveway permits from the DOT. Nothing out of the ordinary for this sort of project. You can scroll down. One of the things that we also consider is community character and land use. Again, here, the parcel zoning, it is permitted, the solar project via SUP. Currently, the land is being used for hay and pasture, and the adjacent property land uses are residential, rural, and forested. We believe that the solar facility is harmonious with the existing undeveloped agricultural and residential use of the parcels adjoining the property. And, through studies and research and experience, these projects really don't depreciate the values of neighboring properties. And one of the benefits to the landowner here is that utilization of the site as a solar farm allows for the future continued use of the property as an agricultural property. Nothing remains after decommissioning unless the landowner wants to keep the access road for access to his property. If not, it will be removed. The county has requested that we leave our landscaping in to help with the reforestation. Again, that's agreeable to Liberty and also up to the landowner as well, whether or not he wants those trees to remain. And those are all discussions that will be had with the landowner. We can go on to the next. Yeah, so we've already talked about why the site had to be seen by the county. It is in an agricultural district, number 2. There are prime soils and prime soils if drained on the leased part of this property. The proposed layout does avoid the prime soils. So we are using the prime soils if drained. However, no tile drains have been installed here per the landowner as far back as he can remember and his family can remember. It is just not financially feasible to put drainage in this area. The bedrock is fairly shallow, as the county noted, and it is just not, it is not property that would benefit from being dug up and drained. Again, there are some farms within 500 feet of the project location, the Reeds, the Shelters, the Emeralds, and Herzbergers.
Got all those names correct.
No, forgive me if I mispronounced.
It's usually Shettlers and there's Hirschbergers live out there. SHBERT.
Okay,
Oh,
so spelling, we got the spelling wrong. We went off of property tax records, so I will double check to make sure that we got those correct. Apologies if they're misspelled. And then again, the landowner has said that the property has never been farmed for anything except for hay, and that drainage is really not something that they are willing to go to the expense to put in. Just briefly, I don't think it's a secret on this site that we do have some prime soils. That was raised by the county, and we've mentioned it ourselves. Approximately 1.22 acres of prime agricultural soils are located on the property, but are located outside of the proposed area of disturbance for this project. So we won't be impacting those. Approximately 19.4 acres of prime soils, if drained, are located on the property, 10 of which are inside the project footprint, but again, they are not drained. We have been working with the landowner, as is typical, to locate this project on the part of the land that is least productive and preferable to that landowner. And I think I've already gone through the rest of this. One of the other benefits of having a solar project is that it's sort of a land banking. The property gets to sit for the length of the project for 25 to 35 years or whatever the lease term is, and be essentially fallow, so that a lot of the nutrients and that sort of things, the property can rest, and it is usable again once the project has been removed. There are approximately 6.5 acres of proposed clearing on the northeast side of the site. We've talked about that already as well. We are putting in a vegetative buffer, which the county has asked that we leave there after decommissioning. There are approximately 97 trees that will be in that buffer, red osier dogwood and white spruce. They're deer resistant, and they form sort of a staggered look to the landscaping, so that you've got some low, some high. It makes a nice screen that's not an eyesore. Any questions? Am I moving too fast? Okay, I feel like I'm just prattling. Okay, the decommissioning plan, we will take into account the county's comments there, but does anticipate the life of the project will be approximately 35 years. The decommissioning cost excluding salvage value, so this will be different from what is in the application package, would be $324,000 and some change. And that breakdown was included in Appendix A of the application package, but without the salvage value. We'll have to get you an updated plan there. Also our physical plan for how we're going to take everything back out of there. And then a financial instrument, so a letter of credit or a surety bond to cover the costs of decommissioning of the project. Okay, next slide. Operations and maintenance plans have been included with our application package as well. Typically, solar facilities are considered to be low maintenance. Really, the sort of thing that we're talking about after installation is making sure that our screening buffer lives, that it makes it, that it doesn't succumb to, you know, whatever animal wants to eat. It won't be deer in this case, that we don't have root rot. You know, we want our screening to live and be useful. And that also they'll be replaced if they don't make it. And then also just general property upkeep, such as mowing and weed whacking, snow plowing when needed, elimination of invasive species by hand pulling. Herbicides will only be used with the town's prior approval. So that's something that we can go either way with. We have projects that use them, projects that don't. So that's at the town's discretion. And then tree trimming may be required in some areas that shade the solar panels, but we don't have that information. We're not quite there yet. Again, the facility will be protected with that 7-foot fence. And then that obviously would prevent anybody from entering the facility. It's also wildlife friendly fencing.
What does that mean?
So it's, yeah, and there's no barbs on the bottom, so nothing will get stuck.
It's a mesh.
Okay.
Yep, not pointy on the top, so nothing will get stuck on the top or bottom.
There's a schematic of it.
Yeah. Yes, I can show that to you. All
Okay.
right, next slide, please. Oh, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
So I went through those fairly quickly, but if you have any questions or comments, I think you've got 5 of us here.
Yeah.
So we can answer all of your questions.
We did go up to that site plan that's on your PowerPoint. Can't read that.
This-
Is the boundary that within setback within 500 feet of that wetland in the southern part of the array?
Within 500 feet? You mean,
No, 100 feet. It's 100 feet buffer between the wetland and the solar arrays.
there's a 100-foot buffer between the state wetlands.
And is that a state wetland?
Let me get up to my.
You have
It is
two on the site, correct? And that stream.
Yep. So
the
those
stream.
are in turquoise. So yes, that one that runs closest to the project boundary to the south is, and there is a 100-foot buffer there.
See right there where you're
You're thinking right.
right there.
It's not the site plan though. So if you go back up a few more slides. I think we were back up a few more slides. There,
Right there.
there.
It looks like it's right on it. The solar array looks like it's right on it and the fence goes right through it.
So what we can do is we can measure some, we can add some measurements to our civil plan
Please do.
to scale. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me write
Looks
that
like the
down.
array kind of,
See, the array is in blue,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, and it goes up and around
it
here.
goes around.
It kind of goes around, but what is that?
The
Blown
black?
outcropping. What is that? The stream I see goes
So-
through it. Because that isn't,
So
the
this is
green
the-
is not all wetland.
This is prime soils if drained, that sort of black and white
Um,
crisscross is prime soils if drained.
But the gray area. right there, that where Jenny has her cursor.
Many cords right here, this section
Yeah,
right
that
here.
section right there.
What is this? It's hollowed out there is likely for topography.
That's what it looks like.
Yep. We've got a stream channel that
It's just
shows
showing different
there.
elevations there. It's either higher or lower.
Yeah, if you get too much of a slope with solar panels, it's problematic.
Yeah. So if you'll just put that on your site plan, that there is 100-foot buffer between that stream and the array.
Yes, ma'am, label those. Cords are stuck on my chair. There we go. No problem.
So I don't know if you want to entertain questions.
Of course, that's
Yeah,
why
she
we're
put the
here.
question slide right up and then.
Because I'm going to go over questions that I have.
The other question I have, seeing
Uh-huh.
is, where does the farmer or the property owner have access back here?
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you look at that site plan, here's your access to the site, to, the solar site. Where does the farmer or the property owner have access? I mean, is this enough room to get a tractor down along the fence line?
I'm
I'm looking at, I'm
I'm wondering if the real or if this is ask him about the
that's when I first saw the site plan.
So, yeah, I think that we did discuss this. That was one of the questions that you asked me on the phone. And, yeah, so Bobbin and Christy, I'm gonna leave this one to you because you guys have been working with the landowner and I have not. So, I guess the question is there access to the back of the property for the landowner? I mean, that the back part of the property is fairly wet, but what is his intention?
But that's prime ag right there.
Bobbin, you want to take that or you don't want me to take it?
You can go ahead, take it.
So Bobbin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think currently there's a trail or like a dirt path on the eastern boundary of the parcel. That's where we, originally, I think when we had our meeting back in July, we were showing our access road like parallel to the boundary. But then we obviously the current site plan shows it more interior to the site, but our intent initially was to follow the same path that the landowner takes to the back of the property. I assume he might likely do the same if he ever wanted to get in the back there. We'll definitely confirm with him, but I'll say when it comes to, potential future plans in the back there, he's mentioned to us a couple times that, he really doesn't have any intent to do anything there on the property on the unaffected areas. He does have 2 cows that, graze. That's really for his personal use. But other than that, he kind of lets the land do its thing, and he's really old. I think he's like in his 70s, and he has no plans to do anything outside of the solar facility. I think there was a letter that he did submit to the town as part of our application, documenting what the past uses is of the site. But when it comes to the future, yeah, he has no plans at this point to do anything much on the land.
Right, but if he has that kind of speaks to the needs of the next generation, that there should be access to that.
Mike, is there a
That's
setback requirement from the property line that fence has to be?
I think there is.
Not
The
the
fence
fence,
can be
just
right to the
the
property line.
fence can be, yeah, he has to.
This whole thing has to be the fence because it's a rural district and, just like a farmer putting the fence down.
Okay.
The landowner has advised to us that, we can create our access to the land, to the solar farm anywhere within the front of his parcel. So we are able to move this if required by the town.
Okay, so when you revise the site plans, add that access route, to the back of the property, if you would.
Okay.
Okay, and put it outside of the fence then, so that they can use it.
Yeah,
Maybe, you know,
because if you got prime agricultural land below the array, you know, the next generation, as Phil was saying, will probably want to get back there.
You probably only need 10 or 15 feet.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think we can do that. I think we can do that, Bob. And let's just, we can talk to the landowner and sketch it out. And share it with Tetra Tech.
I'm just going to speak to the site plans and start with it, just some general comments. We're going to need some archival or photos of the land before construction starts. Like some people have used a drone. So the town knows that it can be returned back to that original state and what the original state looked like before the construction. Someplace on your site plans, you should add within 30 days of ownership change, you will notify the town with their contact information. And again, I want to see that 100-foot buffer on that wetland between, and maybe a note as well in your site plan saying that no construction will be within that location. And then just some other general questions. Your site plans need to be signed and dated by a professional engineer or an architect. And I think you did provide the limits of the lease areas on your site plan, because that's the whole leased area, right? The 74 acres is all in the blue boundary. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
All right. Included detail for the proposed overhead utility poles and point of connection. So add a schematic about that. Add a note of no exporting of soils will occur off the site. Add a schematic of all utility and transmission lines. I have quite a few.
These are all in your notes here.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
reviewing them because not everyone's looking. I just, I did this late today. Hot off the press. Add notes and erosion and sediment control practices to the plans to protect your delineated wetlands. Add a schematic and location of the signs. The fire department usually wants to see a knock box. So add a knock box.
I think that we put that in the narrative. A lot of these things are in the narrative that it'll be done. They are just things that are typically on a civil set that is further down the road. So more of an issued for construction set. We can add them to the set here. We just have to be really, really careful in protecting ourselves as engineers that this set isn't mistaken for a construction set. So there's limits.
Yeah, and it says that.
And it will, yep.
It's not a construction,
Yep.
not for a construction. But we're gonna want to see that before we do much more.
Not a problem.
Okay. Add the location and the amount of tree clearing, and you've already verbalized the amount that's going to be cleared.
It's down further.
But I don't think it's on your site plan, is it?
Yeah, we actually do have a sheet for clearing.
What page was that?
Get it open.
Would it help just,
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's not like it's some of these things I could have missed.
Here, so it is on sheet C203 and it is the area in solid green.
And you're going to and then where you're offsetting your plantings, is that also included on the site plan?
Yes, so that is on the landscaping plan where we would be adding in trees, and that's on the following sheet. Those are in that glowing green.
The following sheet for me is driveway, the access way.
So on
think
this
you're
up
missing
here
a
is at the
sheet.
top right.
Yeah, that's it up there.
Uh,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and there's just
very
under
bright.
100 trees there.
Okay, so And what number is that?
I don't
Looks like I saw that read.
C203,
cut off on the bottom here.
203.
That is this one. What's this one? But it doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't.
There's a little tree though.
wait, there it
It's
is.
my set though.
Oh, okay.
It's that, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's done. Add the proposed phasing for site disturbance.
Yeah, so there is no phasing here, and we have that listed in our long form seeker. But this will all be done in one phase, and that'll all be managed under our stormwater permit. And anywhere that I find when I'm going through your notes in more detail that we've already included it, I will provide you a specific location where you can find it.
Do you mind if we just continue on now?
please.
Because please, that way we can all look at it.
Yeah.
So that authorization will have to come from DEC on it.
It will, and we would do that again with the issue for construction set. It's about a 90% civil design. Because at that point, we would have most of the geotechnical work done. We would know what, if any, grading was required. With the shallow bedrock, we're going to want to be more specific about drainage patterns and what's needed for stormwater control.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see legends for your swales and your grass filter strips and your drainage ditches and your dewatering pits on a site plan.
We can add those in.
Revise the detail street like the town code. Roadways should be a maximum width of 16 feet, and I think you're 20.
Yeah, so is that okay? We want to check and make sure that is okay with the fire department and first responders.
Yes, and we've had others that have gone to them.
That's okay with them.
Yeah, I would just review it with the fire department chief
Okay.
and just make sure, because you've got 20 feet. And I think that in the beginning of this presentation, someone had mentioned 16 feet.
Yeah, so
It needs to be
is
consistent.
code.
Yeah.
20 feet is it's fire code. So we have a little bit of a problem here.
So just ask the fire chief and we'll go from there and get something in writing. from him.
Really.
It's not good for a fire engine or an ambulance or just no.
That's our solar law. That's our solar law. So I have to go by what is the law in front of us.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll.
But if they go 20, it's.
I was gonna say, but that's a minimum.
Right. 16 minimum, so it's good.
I thought it was.
I thought that in maximum. Yeah, that's maximum.
Yes.
I'm sure of that.
I read that this morning.
Yep. Yeah.
We can address that internally.
It doesn't say minimum, I'm quite sure it says maximum.
Oh, wow.
So we've addressed what was there with these projects, same thing.
Chief, and he says, no, 16 feet won't work. We get that in writing from him and that would satisfy the board.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our solar law says built along the field edges, elevation within the elevation contour 16 foot with no impervious materials and built at grade.
So it says 16 foot width. It doesn't say the maximum.
It doesn't say
16 foot.
maximum or minimum.
Well, I have to get the law. Hold on.
Will it be in the code book?
It's in our book. And I will tell you. I should know it by heart by now.
Like, it's-
Maximum height, that's height.
So you guys are really in trouble.
No, no. Me. We put it better than 16.
We just want to be safe, that's all.
Of course. Maximum width of 16 feet. Number is any standard designs of the under most places that
So I was reading that this morning.
So we were talking, and I thought that the solar law was approved by our fire department, so I could be mistaken, but back when we developed it, I thought that was the case.
We will adjust to whatever makes the fire chief and the board happy.
Okay,
It's 4 feet.
all right. Then I want you to replace your details with references to gravel with crushed stone.
Okay,
And also revise the fill material for the limited access road shall consist of clean crushed stone and specify the size of the crushed stone.
no problem.
These are usual B&L comments. There are solar engineers that we consult with, so I'm giving you the heads up that this is it's gonna be coming
Yep.
officially.
We work
from
with them
B&L.
all the time. Yeah,
Indicate the subgrade for the limited use access road shall be roughened where shared and sealed by heavy equipment prior to the installation of your GeoWeb material. Added the schematic of your grass of the filter strips. It should be designated with a pea gravel diagram of a minimum depth of 24 inches. And then you have the St. Lawrence County Planning Board recommendations for your site plan review.
we do.
You've already reviewed those, right?
Yep.
That's all I have for site plan. Does anyone else have any other comments or changes they'd like seen on the site plans? No. Let's go over SWEP. Your SWEP report, I thought was very,
Hi,
very.
Deb. Deb, it's Christy here.
Hi,
Just quickly, the staff report from the county, can you ask Mike to email that to me in the morning? And your report as well? If he had, I know he's usually in early.
What would you like from Mike besides my report?
The county.
Oh, the county report. Okay,
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, if you
I
could
sent that to
kindly
him.
ask him.
he has already sent you the county report.
He did? Oh,
Yeah,
let me
on
see.
Friday.
No, I didn't get it, Mike. Can you resend it when you get to your computer tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Did you copy me, Mike? I can resend it if you did. I'm just looking to make your list shorter.
Pretty much look at mine.
Okay. Okay,
So your stormwater prevention plan was very detailed. It
thank
was
you.
very nicely done.
We tried.
It's just a couple of things.
And just see if it,
If the disturbed area exceeds 5 acres at any given time, you need a written acceptance of this plan from the regional New York State DEC office.
Mhm.
And then the wetland on sites are anticipated, are they jurisdictional by the Army Corps of Engineers? Or did you determine that they were not?
Well,
They're not, right?
What, the wetland?
The wetlands. Oh, yes, you said in there something about Army Corps of Engineers, right?
yes, so we have submitted a determination request. The Army Corps is very, very backed up, but so we don't have a response from them yet. However, there is no required buffer from Army Corps wetlands. They are not state wetlands, so we are just, as a best management practice, keeping a good amount away from them.
Do we need anything from DEC as well for those wetlands?
No, so we did our delineation. We should be fine there. If they have questions when we are submitting our SWIP and all of that to them, we'll obviously provide everything.
I would be surprised if B&L have any further comments on your SWIP because we have all the calculations there. It was really well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. B&L frequently.
Your O&M plan. Just a couple of things. List the responsible parties for undertaking the maintenance and the contract details
Okay,
in your O&M plan
okay,
and include a map indicating the limits of maintenance. Identify the stormwater practices used on site and common issues for each stormwater practice. And then also a copy needs to go to the board as a condition of final approval.
sure.
Anything else about O&M, guys?
These are pretty easy so far.
I thought it was pretty well done, to be honest. The application. All right, you're not done. No, I'm not done yet.
That's okay.
And I think we already talked about your transmission lines. Well,
I tried to read that on my phone.
yeah, that was crazy. I thought you were reading while you were driving too. That was even worse. Transmission lines and interconnection easement. I think we already talked about that, right? You're gonna show that on the site
We
plan.
can show those, yes.
They're underground on the site and above to the interconnection, is that correct?
Yeah, we'll be underground wherever we can, just in trenches, shallow. Yep, to the poles.
Based on the bedrock.
It's very shallow.
Real shallow.
Yes,
They'll probably ask for a noise analysis study.
okay,
I know they will. Because they have for everyone, complete a sound study to estimate the noise generated from the inverters at the nearest property line. To demonstrate that the noise impact associated with the operation of the solar facility is not an issue for the neighbors.
do they usually, so it is very, very unusual. And I know that when they design solar projects, they don't provide noise studies. That is not an industry standard practice. And we did include a section on noise in the narrative.
I know you did. But
Is that a board?
we had them do it for every solar development thus far, we have required a noise study. So I don't see where you'll be the exception.
Interesting. Okay, and they all come out that it's a non,
Yes.
every single one.
Yes, but we wanted it near the nearest residences, just for your own, in the town's own protection.
Sure,
So it comes up.
sure. Put some canisters and stuff out there and some microphones and listen.
And I saw we already did it.
Sorry, Deb, just for clarification, are you asking for that noise study as part of the special use review? Or would that be a condition of approval?
We're gonna want to see it before it gets approved by the board.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You already did a clear analysis.
We did,
And I thought
yes.
that was well done. But that's me, not, you know. Visual impact, I'm trying to see where I wrote visual impact.
I thought I saw it in here too.
Yeah. They'll want a visual impact analysis to be done, or we will want it. How did I put it? I don't know. With photographs. All right,
It is in here.
I know it is. I just don't know where. It should have been right under noise analysis. Exterior lighting, there's no exterior lighting, correct?
Correct.
And decommissioning, I don't know where I put it.
Second last name, like the initial photos that are requested. Their photo simulation. I don't know what page this is, but it's the one with zoning law. Submit a visual impact assessment in accordance with DEC guidance.
Yes.
Okay. And then submit a drawing of the 6 utility poles. Assess the visual impacts of
That's
the
St. Louis
poles.
County planning, right?
Yeah.
That's what they require.
But we want photo sims, line of sight profiles, elevation views. Got it.
Got it.
Yes.
It's right in front of noise analysis. I think I'm missing a page.
It's right after tree and existing vegetation removal, then it's the next page, so it's one or two. It's the third sheet of paper on the back.
Yeah.
Where it says that, to assess
Oh, I
the
see.
impact the polls will have on vehicles traveling on US 11. US 11 is miles away.
They're just telephone poles.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's, US 11 is not,
In the nearest road.
no,
Not
it's
the
the
nearest
Old Dekalb Road and
Or runs parallel to
or
it.
the county route.
yeah. It would be this Old Dekalb Road, I think is what,
I think I'm missing a page in mine.
I'm sorry, sir.
That's all right. It's not your fault. It's probably what I did.
here, do we have an option?
Oh, no, delete.
Borrow mine,
Okay.
I just need it back.
Thank you, Jody. I want you to have that. That may be,
Thank you.
Where are you picture from?
oh,
Oh, send me where you want it, it's on the back page.
I know where it is.
Yeah. On the back.
Christy and Bob, and I don't know if you could hear, Mike said he was gonna send us
I got it.
where
Thank
he
you.
wants us to take our pictures and do our line of sights from. He's in the back of the room with some kind of laryngitis.
It's getting worse by the hour.
You have to repeat that. Sorry.
I didn't hear what
Yeah.
you were asking, whoever was asking. Is that you, Christy?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Deb?
Oh, I thought someone had a question that was on Zoom.
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't know.
Okay. In your site plans, are you avoiding all the prime farmlands?
We are avoiding the prime, yes. We
The
are
prime is
not,
Only 1.25 acres.
Say 1.2.
Can you move the array to avoid it all or no?
so we are avoiding most of it. We are really down to some limited space here. We prefer to not,
To leave it.
yeah. And again, it's been deemed as prime. It's
prime favorite soil. Bedrock.
it is bedrock and it grows hay. So I don't know. It grows really crummy hay.
That's scientific term.
I've never tried.
Horse hay or beef hay.
I was talking about fencing for a minute. You said it was 7 foot tall, and your site plans, it says it's 8 foot tall,
So 7
and
feet.
he said it was going to be
6.
6.
So it is a federal requirement that it be at least 7 feet tall. We cannot, by code.
That's fine, it's just all needs to be consistent.
Yes.
Our code says at least 6 feet tall.
Okay. All right. So that'll be up to you guys, whether you want to do 7 or 8. I think probably 7.
Whatever you decide, that's.
So consistent.
Consistent with what we document. Is that emergency pedestrian access gate, is it going to be located on the southeast portion of the site? Is that where it is? I wasn't sure where it was on the site plans.
Are you asking about the gate, the proposed
Gate? Emergency pedestrian gate. And that's
I
going,
believe I think it might be at the back, right, Jody? There was an emergency access at the back.
That's what
There should be a call out, I think, on the site plan, Deb.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I don't think I saw it on our site plan.
You know, though, if we are going to change our access road configuration and move it outside of the fence for landowner access to the rear of the property, that'll change the configuration of the gates.
I don't care if you leave your access road where it is, but just provide a gravel or a dirt road, or a space or a path that the landowner can get down to.
Back there.
Just, I don't think you have to change your road.
My engineers will like that.
I don't know.
Biggest thing is hard through the wetlands. We just can't build through them.
Yes. But just some way that's a.
Okay.
The landowner can get back there, that's all.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I wouldn't change your road, maybe just make it smaller. And crush stone instead of gravel. Okay, so I didn't see that pedestrian access gate on your plans.
Agreed. I can't find it right now either.
And I didn't see a schematic for it either.
You might not have put one for the man gate in there. We just have the self-blocking.
Oh, here it is. Emergency pedestrian gate is right there. I see it's on C201. But I don't have a schematic for it.
Oh, there it is. So that's on C501.
C501
has the emergency pedestrian gate.
I think we're all set.
There you go. It's right there. It's the bottom, I think. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. That's a difference. Oh, all right. So I was reading that as a deer fence, but down here
Oh,
it says it's
okay.
pedestrian gate. Perfect.
If the other ones we do. Have these,
No, nobody else has had that,
good idea.
but it's a great idea. Let's see if I can.
But nobody else has had what, the deer?
The emergency pedestrian
Oh,
access gate.
oh,
Nobody else has had that so far.
I'm just curious, why you even need it? I mean, you're fencing in with 0.5 acres.
for emergencies.
It's to get out of the rear end without hopping over the fence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, nobody else has added that to it. It's a great idea.
Well, perhaps we can trade that for the noise study.
I don't think that's gonna go. All right, just talking about.
I can try.
And I really wasn't sure what this meant, and like, maybe you can help with this. Frontage setback of 200 feet, what is that?
Frontage. Road frontage.
Distance from the road.
So, road frontage of,
Don't think. I get what you're saying.
so it's not a front setback, because the front setback is 75 feet.
Right, she's talking road frontage.
How wide?
How wide it is.
Yeah, that I don't think had nothing to do with. So.
Well, I got it from somewhere.
Setback would be 75 feet.
Yeah.
Road frontage is 200 feet.
Yeah, but we're well out.
We're well outside. You got more than that.
Back really far.
All right,
Yeah,
so that's fine.
250 feet from the resident.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna clarify, Deb, the 250 feet is from the residences. Well, they're really trailers, but within the parcel footprint. And so Tetra Tech applied a 250-foot buffer around each of those residences, just along the road frontage.
Yeah, which is really nice. So you got 250 feet to nearest residence, right?
Yeah, yep, plus
Plus,
a little bit more, yep.
perfect. Okay. How about access road? For the safety, we've already talked about talking to the fire department and then clarify where the shut off will be located
Mhm.
on your site plans and include the knock box.
Mhm.
And you said the knock box was already part of the plans. I didn't see the knock box.
I don't think we put it in our design set. I put it in the narrative,
Okay.
but yeah, that's pretty standard.
Okay. Mhm. So with these speaking of trees and existing vegetation, you're gonna remove 6.46 acres of trees, correct?
It's trees and brush.
Trees
Yeah,
and brush.
I would
It's
not
very
call
fancy.
it's not old growth, beautiful forest. There are some trees.
So will these 97 white spruce and red dogwoods? Is that going to be equal to the amount that you removed, or is that less than?
It's probably, I don't have a good answer for that, to be honest. I don't know how many trees are in that 6.4 acres. Again, a lot of it is brush or very young second growth trees that are, skinny little things. So I
It's
don't
gonna be
know.
less.
It'll probably be less, right? And you saw what St. Lawrence County Planning Board recommends, right?
Yes,
And then regarding your signs,
Mhm.
you need the sign schematics in your site plan
we can do that.
with the location for each of your signs. Almost done. I think I'm almost done here. I've got almost everything. decommissioning plan, we've already talked about, but other than what St. Lawrence County Planning recommends, you're gonna take out your scrap estimate and include supporting language if the ownership changes in that plan. Add your disposal fees and how the installed road will be removed and add the terms of your lease.
Sure.
Okay? Community benefit plan is something that you're working on, correct? With the
Yes.
town board. And you said you already have the New York State Historic Preservation Office correspondence
We
of
do.
no effect. Pilot agreement, you're developing that with the town. Is that what you said in the very beginning?
I believe that's correct, right, Christine?
That is correct, yes.
Then I just have a few other things. Provide your equipment sheets and photos for all your significant components, just like you did on the PowerPoint. We should have it
Okay.
in part of our packet. Include the type of solar panels proposed and the relevant information. Confirm your NYSERDA funding is being used for these projects that are located within a state designated agricultural district. And submit your notice of intent form from NYSERDA for the referral to New York State Ag and Markets. Therefore, if applicable, provide determination of impact from New York State Ag and Markets, including acceptable mitigation options. Submit a wetland delineation report.
Okay. We've got that.
Complete your local and state permits. Note your utility poles, your signage, your parking, et cetera, located on the private property, not the right of way. That's probably just something I cut and paste from somewhere else. All right.
That whole last bullet.
Yeah, complete your local and state permits as required within the right of way or highway.
So that's not something that we could do until we had an issued for construction set. The DOT, the state DOT.
You gotta be on the DOT.
This is town permit, isn't it?
Now,
It's just the
down the road.
town.
And you want those all now, even though things could change.
We're just gonna have to require,
It's required.
highway permit. Basically, you're talking town highway superintendent. We need to cut into this road.
Okay. And you want us to do that now? in
You
this
can do that
case?
at any time, I would
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
That way, you know, you have access.
Okay.
It should be a pretty simple project. Right?
Yeah, it's a driveway.
It's just a driveway.
Yep.
And it's off a town road.
Just a driveway.
That's all I had. Did anyone have anything else? Are you gonna use any solar grazing or sheep?
So, you know, that came up. I don't know if anybody listened in on the county meeting.
John did. He's on.
I guess the short answer is that's up to Liberty and the landowner, and I'm not gonna commit anybody to anything right now.
It's a recommendation. It's not a requirement.
Okay.
But it would, especially when we do secret part 2 and 3, it does show that there is a continued agricultural use of the property.
Mhm.
So it's not a big impact.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying for that secret part
The owner
2?
grazes 2 beef cows in that.
You'd probably take out the solar panel.
Funds to multi-use with solar projects, and we don't have to go through all of those now. Yes, some livestock is good, some is bad, but the logistics of that are very, very difficult right now.
So
You don't want them to cows.
if no one has anything else, say, when do you think we can get all this together? And we'll look at another meeting for this project.
I need to talk with my project engineers.
We're into October now.
We are. Well, I guess it would be helpful to get the comments from BNL.
You should have them. I'm not sure when you have, we originally had this meeting scheduled in October and y'all asked for it to be moved up. BNL wasn't able to accommodate the move up, so
Right.
this is what you have. It's the best we could do.
Uh-huh.
Right? But we would still expect BNL to review the project and give us more guidance, if you will,
Mhm.
for the project.
So we can start working on a lot of these and I can provide you with the information that's already in there and the locations of where you can find a lot of this information in our application package. But I would say from the time that we get the comments from B&L, 4 to 6 weeks is what we would need to make the edits and then
So
have,
do you want to just wait and let Mike know when you'd like this next meeting? It's just that we are getting a little swamped with solar developments in the township.
everybody
Means that
is.
it is, or do you just need a comment about it, saying that they're gonna be.
Right, would you ask it again? I didn't.
Do you need
Sorry.
the actual plans edited, or would you rather us just have a letter to go with the plans? Saying that those changes will be made?
I think we would like to see the site plan changes.
Yeah.
Not just the letter saying that we're going to do it,
Yeah.
right? Because we already said we're going to do it tonight. Right, we'd like
I
to,
agree.
we'd like to see it as complete as possible, and then we can start doing the secret part 1 and have our public meeting and
Right.
notified all the involved agencies or interested agencies to see if we need to do a coordinated review or what have you, and then we can move on after those 30 days to do secret part 2 and 3 and look at the entire project.
You had them.
Deb, it's Christy here, just to make sure I understand what's next after meeting. So once we have our revised plan and additional studies completed, do we come back to you on the board for another discussion, or can you work towards scheduling the public hearing? Like, what is the next steps for us after we submit our revisions?
So our next step is we're going to wait for B&L's review. We'll submit that to you. I'm sure it'll look a lot like what I've already given you, plus more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It gives you something to start working on, because it's going to be down the pike here. So once you see the recommendations that we need for secret part 1, then we'll do secret part 1 and we'll send out that secret part 1 declaring the town planning board as lead agency. It's a 30-day review period. And within that 30 days or right after that 30 days, we'll have a public comment meeting. And once that's done, then we can look at secret part 2 and part 3, and then we can hopefully look at the entire project and make a determination whether it's a go or not.
Okay, so you need the revisions before you initiate part 1,
Yes.
and
Well, I need part
then after that, 30 days after that is when you guys would schedule the hearing.
the secret
Sorry,
part.
I think I lost you there. Sorry.
Yes. Did you hear me, Christy?
No, it broke up. Sorry.
Sorry, I said, I think that we need most of those revisions before we can do part 1 of the seeker. Before we can.
Okay.
And I know you, but we need to see a little more data there before we can approve it.
Understood. Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So you'll let Mike know when
Yes.
you don't want to plan it now, correct?
I think without seeing, although I think that your review and the county's review is very comprehensive and that's appreciated. I want to make sure that we aren't missing something.
Yes.
I do want to wait until we have the full list from B&L.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you'll need 4 to 6 weeks after. So if they're not going to be able to get to it until October 16th, we'll probably be looking at December, mid-December for your next review.
We'll try to get it to you as quickly.
And I'm in no rush. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there. That's what we're looking at then for you is December. Okay. All right. If B&L gets the review done sooner, of course, you'll get it then.
I'll have to give them a ring. Industry, same names all the time.
Curiosity, with this taking extra time, does that change your actual construction schedule for next year or maybe not?
I mean, I would imagine that that Liberty has built some of this into their schedule.
But then I would defer that question to Christie.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at Q3 of next year
Yeah.
before you start construction, so
You have time.
I think you have time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is for our construction company or the EPC to do a little bit of valued engineering. So we do have to consider that, but we do have a little bit of a buffer in there.
Wonderful. All right, then, John, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Not to this. It was very well done. Thank you.
Okay. So I think we're done with your review.
Okay.
So it is. All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Thank
Deb, on behalf of the Liberty team, we appreciate you on the board taking time to review our application. I think this was a good discussion, and we look forward to providing those revised plans as soon as possible so we can, meet again to get this process going. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, Christie.
We look forward to working with you.
You guys need to close your meeting without us here, probably.
We have other business.
Okay. Getting late and might set.
We
We will see you again.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Safe travel. All right, John wanted to bring something up before we left today.
Oh, hang on one second. Bob, and I'm just gonna let you know that you can sign out anytime. We're just finishing up some boards.
Dropping off right now. Sorry about that. Take care, everybody.
That's fine. I just didn't want you to listen to stuff you didn't need, so.
Okay. Take care.
John, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to revise my my motion from last week because it got, like I wrote you a little on it. It got lost in the weeds, and we thought we were going to overwhelm the lawyer, which it was just poorly written by me. So I would like to make a motion that the planning board invite our attorney and engineer to attend either in person or with Zoom, if available, to all our meetings where solar issues are on the agenda. That's it.
Now, I mean, I have a question on that, John, and as you know, I seconded the motion last week. And I'm inclined to second it again this week. And I just want to throw this out for discussion, and I don't know whether I'm doing this in the right order, would be if we are making a decision. So, I mean, essentially, all of our meetings right now are about solar, so it would be every meeting. But in some of the meetings, like the one tonight, we aren't making a decision. So I would recommend that change to the motion, but I don't know whether I'm doing that in the proper Rogers Rules of Order or anything like that.
There's nothing about a decision in the motion. It's just where the solar issues are on the agenda. That's all I said.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is that just saying solar issues on the agenda means that we would ask for them to be here at every meeting.
No, we're not. We're ourselves inviting them to the meeting, not telling them to be here, inviting them.
So,
Just so they know that the meeting is happening.
So what I'm hearing Bill say is he would consider an amendment to the motion and having the solar attorney be here only when we have major decisions to make about a solar development. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. For example, doing secret part 2 and part 3, and also the approval or disapproval of the project. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and I may have also misunderstood John's motion, because I think, I always thought that the attorneys and the engineers were invited to all the meetings that Solar's on. I thought they were,
I don't know.
I thought that's an open invitation, but our lawyer could come anytime that he wants, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I don't know where we have that on the
You
record.
have to invite them, don't you? Do we have to invite Bill?
I'm surprised BNL wasn't on tonight, you know?
Me too.
Yeah, so you see what I mean, there's a difference there. One is an open invitation, and one is an actual request for them to attend when a decision is being made.
I stand by my motion. I think it's pretty clear. We're ourselves inviting our lawyer and our engineer to our meetings where solar issues are on the agenda. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
They could choose not to come. They could tune in a little bit, see what's going on. I mean, it's up to them. They know what they need. I think for me, I just can't. I just don't want to. I don't want to have them feel that we're excluding them. I would hate to feel that. I would hate to think that was on just even part of their minds.
Anybody wish to second John's motion?
Okay, that's a good one.
Well, wait, I'm not sure. I may want to second.
Well, you can also do an amendment motion. After what you just said, you can amend your.
Yeah, I almost wish I would have
restate it in your verbiage.
Yeah, I wish they were here. I wish the lawyer and the representative, the BNL were here, because they might say, we've never felt excluded. We always thought we could come.
How about
How do
having a
we-
conversation with them? Yeah, I was gonna say,
Don't we communicate?
we're gonna be back here in 3 days.
Yeah,
Can somebody contact them between now and Thursday and just be here Thursday?
And Bill Buchanan, you're gonna discuss stuff with them at the town board meeting, right? So Bill Buchanan should be there on Thursday, but not at our meeting at the town board. Wednesday, excuse me, and Friday.
but also John's point is that we have not formalized, we may not, or possibly, sounds like we have not formalized that they are openly invited to the meetings where solar is being discussed. And I think that's maybe what John's trying to get to. John?
Okay, so I mean, it's funny how we're all hesitant on this, and I guess I can appreciate it if I think about it enough. But why don't I give way to and ask Mike if he would confer with our lawyer my thoughts, and he could come back to us on, and also BNL about them being invited to our meetings, and just so I wouldn't want them to get the impression that we have any exclusive thoughts here, that we don't want them involved. We don't want their advice.
I don't think BNL's an issue.
I don't think BNL is.
All right, but just for further down the road, just so we include them, it's just an inclusive motion, because the town, our board could change over time. I mean, everybody could be gone.
Right.
So everybody's gone. The motion still is there. They're still on the invite list. Whoever's in power in the planning board at that time knows to invite these entities to our meetings where solar is discussed.
And see, the motion I can find and I could second.
So what I'm hearing you say, John, and I'm just trying to put it succinctly if I can, but you would like to table your motion until Mike talks to Bill Buchanan about the invite, and then we can readdress this on Thursday.
That sounds terrific.
Is that what you're asking?
That's fine. That's fine.
Table the motion until Thursday, get the feedback from Bill Buchanan, and Mike is going to do that for us. Is that all right? Perfect.
Can I make an unofficial comment? I'm not part of the board and I apologize. They are not, like, when I send the agenda to you guys, I don't send it to them.
Right.
If that would help, I'm happy to do that. And maybe that simplifies everything.
Well,
But I don't know. I think
That's
the
exactly what the motion is about.
comment.
That's what John's asking.
I think that is what John's asking. But also, I think the board needs to make the decision.
Sure.
Whether, what to do about the solar tournament. And we can do that on Thursday.
Great.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to make sure it was clear that everybody knows that that isn't happening at this.
All right, before we go then, and we agreed on that, I'll ask this question. Is our lawyer going to be invited to our part 2 and 3 review on Thursday?
He certainly can be.
I think he should be.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jenny.
Okay.
Invite him along. All right, send him that request. Can Jenny do that? Yeah. All right. Do you have documents? Anything for us to look at for Thursday's meeting?
Yeah, but I didn't want to bring them down while they were,
Okay.
so what you're asking me is to go get them.
Yeah, would you?
You want some help? Yeah.
Do you need help?
Okay, well.
So I did something similar to. If what?
We've already done this for the other one.
I did, other than 2 and 3.
This is why you're chair.
This is what me. I need to tell you. I'm done.
Oh, yeah, all of Jane.
Just a few of the maps. No, I mean, it's on our.
When I tried to scroll down, page 21, and the page was just a solid line of one. I just got one. It was up for hours.
Yes, and you just kept having, because I was using most of this, and no information.
Yeah.
Down the phone, or did you go to Google Drive and already downloaded? That's why. Download the file. If you're looking at a preview,
Okay.
so if you're looking in Google Drive, it's a great place to organize stuff and find stuff. But if you need to actually review the entire document, it's best to download it, which is annoying. I know. Download it, look at it, delete it.
Well, this whole document showed up, so I downloaded that and printed it.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other one,
Yeah, don't print it, right?
no,
Well,
I didn't want to do that. I couldn't do that.
Yes, I'm back to, I'm thinking about what you did with the seeker 2 and 3
Yeah.
and everything that went through.
Mhm.
And it's all about, it's why we hired BNL.
Right.
I mean, that's basically it. Anything else, even in the resolution,
Okay.
was really about dependent on what was going on with the board and everything in terms of I remember, John, you were concerned about the cost or about the bond or whatever, or the escrow account or.
The commissioning.
Yeah, and I mean, all of it was, it said it's resolved with the following conditions. And then when you look at each one of the conditions, it has to do not with us. It has to do with the town board.
Mhm.
Interactions with BNL, and there not even BNL, but that's with them. So I'm trying to figure out what the lawyer could do in terms of, other than just to listen and get the scope, maybe, of it.
Well, there was also a piece in BNL's resolution about the inspection fees
Yes,
that were paid by, they're paid to BNL.
Right.
That we would want a lawyer to be.
but that one had to do with the town board. It's not up to us to assign the inspection fees.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well, I know that's not up to us. I was just wondering if it was approving that agreement,
but that's even, our things are contingent upon the building working out with the stage, so I don't know.
No, I mean, so I'm trying to read it. So when John had the question, I thought, I mean, it was certainly appropriate to like, oh, wow, you're right. I didn't think of that. And then I kept looking at it and almost everything has to do with the interaction with the town board,
Right.
not us.
So they are gonna review this at the Wednesday's meeting.
Okay.
Because that was kind of a shocker,
Yeah.
that to read that resolution.
Yeah.
We only received it 30 minutes before the meeting commenced.
Right, right.
So,
I certainly didn't pick it up.
like I said, well,
I know, well, I'm gonna
see it to me and Ashley and also to the, Bill Buchanan.
Okay.
So we'll get that feedback hopefully on
All right.
Thursday's meeting.
Good.
Now, the review I've done so far has nothing to do with secret part 2 and 3, but it's just the review of the project as a
Okay.
whole.
I mean, I have.
And I asked Mike to send it to the developer so they could answer the questions, because it wasn't anything I could done,
Right.
just a few things.
So it was almost, I saw that you powdered it.
After Cody,
Yeah.
Cody's report, yeah, I really liked this report.
Yeah.
And this last report was nothing like what Cody would write.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it really wasn't. Cody was very detailed and organized in his response, but anyway, that's just me. Anything else in the other business? Actually, I'm ready to. I see this.
So you're leaving the board at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Entirely?
Yeah.
Who's gonna fill your shoes?
Gone for almost 3 months. And we could. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to be here. It's just not the way I can function. Anyway, any other business?
Yes, we did get a nice letter from the gentleman from the Judson Street project.
Mr. Chiefly.
There is.
John Lawrence?
Oh, John Lawrence. Okay, right.
The neighbor on Judson Street is kind of throwing the town board and the planning board under the bus on Facebook, so.
Oh, dear.
That was a done deal.
Her comment was that somehow it was going to expand and grow and whatever. And you were really clear about
It was about devaluing the property.
Right. But like I said, I sent out letters in May about that project. So we're well aware of the project, so I mean,
I did ask Joe Hens, I didn't ask him, but Joe Hens said that he would visit with her to see if he could do anything to satisfy, the visual impact, lessen the visual impact from the property line.
I think she's thinking that it's gonna be in that field right beside her. I don't think she.
Her property was in front of the access road.
it is going to be allowed during construction.
It will be. And then I don't know how much of the solar waste you'll
Worse than the
see.
traffic going by on Judson Street already.
So that's all I wanted to know.
Okay, well, it will be trashed.
I don't know.
I have pretty big shoulders. I can. Won't be the first time I've been trashed. Any other comments or anything else for the board?
Just officially, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank
Seriously.
you.
You're welcome. I know the people that work part-time, even part-time, can't do this.
This is a lot more than I signed up for.
It's a-
When I joined, we were even once a month when we needed to.
I know, right? And the reason like Morgan left is he knew we wouldn't have the time to devote to what's required for these solar developments. So I'm really hoping that a lot of these can be done before I.
Well, as like I said, I saw how you went through and you were,
I try to stay, and the more I'm doing it, the better I understand it. But I'm still a long ways from that.
Well, somebody has to do this work. And this board right now is probably the best working group that's been around for a while. So it's hard to monkey with success. I'd say we should all keep going with this because this is a lot. And, you know, just when you go home tonight, just look at all the houses of the people you're passing by. They're not here. We're all here doing this work.
I agree.
And we're all working for the town of Canton, basically. So I gotta appreciate everybody on board, even if you don't like my motions, it's okay.
Well, we tabled it, John. We just tabled that.
Well,
That's just to watch your blood pressure go up.
no, I don't have a blood pressure. I'm good. I'm good with your decisions. You're doing a good job. And by the way, I really tried to listen to everybody, but it's really hard on a Zoom, especially my little hookup here, especially when everybody's talking at once. You can't hear anything. But I try my best. I'll be there on Thursday, though.
I'm good.
I'll be all better. If you want me to wear a mask on Thursday, I will.
Good, because I'm going to Paris on Tuesday.
Okay. I'll wear a mask on Thursday.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion for this.
I'll make
Motion to
a-
go home.
And I'll second that motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Mike, I'll give you your voice back. Did we go all right with that?
All right, so what do we do? All right, so see you, John.
Yep.
Where's my-
Thank you.
Number 15, so this is.